So my name is Tina LaFreniere, and I am the founder of Related Faces, and I inherited thousands of photos from my family, which is really a blessing, and I know I'm very blessed, but they didn't bother to write on the names of the people on the back of hundreds of photos. So I had a big problem, and I was simply unwilling to let these photos go another generation unmarked. And I certainly wasn't going to throw them away, and I wasn't going to sell them because they're important to me. And when I went out to find a product to use, I knew I wanted facial recognition. My husband is a technology executive, and I thought, because I sat around with the magnifying glasses with my family, we passed the photos around. Every family does this, right? I thought, this is nuts. Because one person would mark it as, this is Louisa Foreman, and the next person would mark it out. And then it would be, oh, that's Matilda Foreman. And then they'd mark it out, oh, no, that's Lillian Foreman. And well, that's 3 of the 4 sisters right there, right? So it was just crazy. So I started looking for a site that genealogists could use, because we have unknown dead people, right? And you want to build a profile because you may have an unknown dead person and end up finding them in 3 or 4 of your photos. And that person can actually help you break down your walls. So that is what led us to developing Related Faces. We wanted to use state-of-the-art facial recognition, but we wanted to apply genealogical principles to that and allow you to build profiles, because profiles are really important for us, right? In genealogy, we want to know their birth dates, their death dates, where they live, all of those things. And that data helps us. We actually not only compare faces, we actually have a patent on how we handle the data and compare data. Like this person and this person may end up having the same person, and they're connected by the face, and then the data ends up telling the story that they're actually the same person. So that's in just what it works and what we do.
Okay. And you said you came up with this idea. You talked to your husband about developing it. I understand from talking to you previously that your daughter was the one who did a lot of the programming. Is that right?
She did the design. The design, yeah. So my daughter, I sent her to school as a UI UX student, and she got her degree from Texas State in communication design, and then she became a UI UX designer. So to pay her mom back, her mother got her to design the site. But it's really important because my daughter is very cognizant of ADA requirements and elder people. And let's face it, a lot of genealogists are elder. And we wanted to make sure that the site was intuitive and easy to read. And she worked so hard. Everything, the buttons are very clear, they're high contrast, so you have an idea of exactly what to do, where to go, how to use it. So yeah, Grace had a big part in how the look, the feel of how you use the site was Grace. She was.
Okay. So what happens here is people bring in photographs to the sites. They upload the photographs.
Right. So each person makes their own subscription, and you're in control. Nobody is going to tell you this is or is not your person. So what we always recommend is that you load a few known people first. These are the target people that you're trying to find over here. We have found that the majority of times that the unknown people are actually known to you, but you just did not recognize them. That they were younger, they were cleaned up and dolled up in a professional photo, where your family photos, they're more frumpy haired or whatever. So you load those and create profiles with names for those known people. And then when you get to the ones that you think that's your Grandma Matilda, but you're not quite sure, you give them what we call a general descriptor. So instead of putting a first, middle, last name, you open this little box, you click on general descriptor, and it literally is a box, and you describe the person. You could say, woman in a big hat, might be Grandma Matilda, right? Or you could even name it Matilda at 15 if you just wanted a comparison. But then we take your unknown people, and that's what we run the facial recognition on and the data recognition on. But we not only do your own collection that way, we do your whole collection against everybody else's photos in the database and the photos that we have from the Library of Congress that are good for facial recognition. We have those that you will get to see pairings for those. So if you've got someone, you've got no idea who they are, you might get a hit on that funny thing is with the Library of Congress, I never thought that I would personally benefit for those collections, but on my Foreman side, the Matilda, I was just telling you, Matilda, Louisa, Lillian, that side of the family, the women, even the mother, even the grandmother, all look the same. And there's a particular photo at the Library of Congress that pairs with 3 of the women in that family. And I have a big brick wall because their last name is Foreman or Wolfe. And they're so common, William Foreman and George Wolfe. So I'm now looking at the photographer as possibly my brick wall breaker, is can I identify where that photographer took those photos, and then can I start looking in that location for people with the same or similar names. So I never thought I'd benefit, but because we originally decided that that would be great, especially for African American people who may have few photographs. Asian American people, there's a huge Depression era collection that they have. So it was one of those things that was like, hey, you never know. So that's where that came in.
So one of the things I do is I'll go to flea markets, or I'll go to thrift shops, and you see all these photographs there. Is that something that you could upload into the system to see if they can identify them?
Actually, Miles, it's funny because we are going to start a new program on the site. Not exactly sure what the date's going to be on this, but I have bought photos of my own, and I have, as the owner, I get multiple users. So one of my users I'm going to turn into sort of a Tina's Pics, and I'm going to start loading these photos that I acquire in there, because some of them actually have names or places or places on the back of them, and it's really sad. You buy these in these antique stores or flea markets or whatever, and yeah, it's really sad, and we want to collect those, and we want to get them back to the families that they actually belong to. So I think it's interesting that you say that. We also have a gentleman that is interested in Utah history that uses our site sometimes, and when he finds a photo that he purchases and he thinks it might be a famous Utah person, he will run them through our database to see the results that he gets. Now remember, you don't have to have 99% for it to be that person, but you also don't count somebody out just because it's a low score, right? So let's say that it's only a 60% score, but this person's in their 50s and this person's in their 20s. They very well could be the same person, and you need to look and see what makes sense, because if they came out of your own collection, then they probably are the same person, right? So you just want to look at the whole thing and not just that number.
So I know I talked with you last year at RootsTech. That was your first year at RootsTech.
It was.
This is your second year.
Our second year.
How have things changed over that year?
It's been kind of amazing. I mean, we thought that nothing could beat last year. We had people sitting line at our booth. I mean, people were honestly waiting in line to have us do demos for over 30 minutes. It was amazing, and we thought it couldn't be any better. But this year, actually, we've had a lot of the other big name companies coming to our booth looking at our technology. So maybe we can help. They can help grow this, integrate this. We're going to see what the future holds for us. Maybe we keep it our family, but the purpose when I did this was to make it's a company. It's something that I hope to make money on, but it really meant to be a gift to the community, because I knew what we needed. I knew it back in 2018 when we started this, and then COVID kind of derailed us. But I know that there are so many photos out there, and we have to save these photos. I had a photo of 2 unknown girls. I was pretty sure one of them was one of those Foreman girls. No idea who the other girl was. But when we ran these through facial recognition, I identified the one was Lillian Foreman. And then the other woman, I actually found her on a book cover for Portage Township in Portage, Indiana. And she ends up being a shirt tail relative of mine. Not only is she the best friend of Lillian Foreman on one side of my family, her husband's brother is married into my family on the other side of my family. And my great-grandfather is Emil and Alfred's younger brother's godfather. This woman, I have no idea who she is. I never thought I would. And she's connected to me in 3 different ways. So that's the kind of stuff that you will be stunned what your photos end up telling you that you never even knew you had to look for.
Well, I really appreciate you taking some time out of your busy RootsTech schedule and chatting with me.
Thank you.
And related faces, I've played with the stuff a little bit, and it's really great technology. I just have to get the time to actually put all my pictures together.
That's true. Are like the shoemaker's children. I don't get to do. I have customers with more photos in there than I have. So yeah, it is, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about it. And we're very excited that we can bring this to the community.
And so, what is the webpage if people want to visit?
It's relatedfaces.com. It's really simple to remember, and we're a subscription model, and you do get your first 14 days free, so you can even try it out before you even have to pay.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Tina.
Thank you so much. All right, bye-bye.